I was dreaming when I wrote this, so forgive me if it goes astray. When I was younger and more beautiful, women loved me. I know, that's an odd thing to say. It's an odd thing to realize or contemplate or consider, but I woke up from a dream remembering, thinking about it, thinking about old friends who don't think about me anymore, even, perhaps. Annie McGarry. Um, we last talked on the phone in 2016, maybe it was. Um, she was very upset that Trump might become president. Of course, I was saying, how upsetting it would be if, like, Hillary Clinton became president. Of course, I also realized that it'd be upsetting if anybody was president, or if I lived in the United States um, with people who um, thought that the President of the United States was in charge or something. Although I did find that Hillary Clinton was particularly odious. Um, uh, of course, Trump is particularly odious too. I disliked him longer. I started disliking him in the 80s when then I started really liking her in the 90s. Um, there was a crossover there. But to talk to somebody on the phone, I don't think I even considered it at the time that I was talking to her. And I just considered it now when I woke up from this dream. I think there was a moment there that she loved me. And what does that even mean? What does it mean? What does it mean when somebody's 23 and they're slightly enamored by you? What does it mean when you meet them at a party and they sneak away from their boyfriend to, like, make out with you in the stairwell? What are these stories? How many of them are there? How many does she have? How many do I have? Beth was also in the dream. Um, Beth was in love with me. Beth was in love. Beth, I know because she told me she was. And it was sad because I wasn't in love with her, but I dated her for years. Why? Well, because she kept showing up at my house. I told her at one point, I said, I don't want to go out with you, but you keep showing up here. I literally said to her, I was like, I'm not gonna not have sex with you if you show up at my house. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Um, of course, you know, I feel like an older man of my age. I'm old now. Now you could show up at my house and I won't have sex with you. Like, that's just like, I don't know. The mailman. She's a lady. I never even talked to her. um, but when you're a man, you're 20, 30. You know, from the time you're 20 till you're 30, you want to have sex with all of the women. Not all of them, but as many as you can. Is all the ones that are pretty that you think are pretty. You want to have, like, I knew a guy. I talked to a guy who had sex with lots of women, way more women than I did. Like, in a factor of like 10. Like, if I had sex with 60 women or 100, I don't know. Um, he had sex with like 1,000 women. Um, and we were talking once about having sex with, like, more than one woman in a day, and how, like, it's like it was like there was it was a game. There was a certain amount of it that was a game, and it was insane to think about. I mean, to one aspect is like sex positive. We're all having a fine time. Nobody got hurt. You know, I didn't kill anybody or get anybody pregnant. Uh, you know, you know, that I didn't know. For no strangers. Only like whatever. But like, um, I was like, I was like not dating somebody, not kind of almost very loosely not dating somebody else, and I like walked out of this woman's apartment at midnight after having sex with her, and ran into some other woman, and it was like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? Like some woman that I had like been sleeping with. Beth, why not tell you? I don't, it's not. I'm not gonna give you her last name because I'll say Annie McGarry because there's like so many Annie McGarrys in the world, and you'll never, if you find her, have her call me. But like I ran into Beth, and we had been dating off and on for years, and I went to her apartment and I had sex with her, and I had just had sex at whatever it was, 11 o'clock at night or something, and then there it was, midnight, and I was telling this guy that, and he goes, well, technically that's not the same day. Yeah, that's gonna that'll yeah. 24-hour period is how you really need to just kind of open it up from the first person you have sex with. Then you have 24 hours. How many can you get in there? Um, do people still do this? I bet they do. I bet they do. I bet they have. I bet I bet you know, people have sex with 4 people, 5 people in a day. They 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 must. They don't have to. I'm just saying it's something they would do. I was just gonna tell a short story um, about being young and being in love, um, because I'm doing more stories. Um, and so that was that. And I realized I've already talked for 7 minutes, and so that's long enough for a story. And I don't even know who will care. Who will care? Who will watch this? I don't know. I find it wildly interesting, but I'm me. I'm also laying down, so that can't be hard work. No one appreciates that. People like costumes and dancing, choreography, and funny voices. People like funny voices, I found. People like funny voices, and they like hats. I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray.